Ever been in that super awkward situation where you're walking, maybe in a hurry, and suddenly you feel that dreaded flap against your ankle? You look down, and yep, your shoelace has betrayed you again. It's like a tiny daily mystery. Why do they do that? It's not like a ghost is secretly untying them. Or is there? Well, today, we re-pulling on that thread and unraveling the science behind why your shoelaces just can't seem to stay tied. It's a tale of physics, friction, and a bit of everyday magic you probably never thought about. So what's the deal? You tie a solid knot in the morning, give it a good tug, and you think you're set. But a few thousand steps later, it's a loose mess. Is it your tying technique? The laces themselves? Or is there some invisible force at play? The answer is a little bit of all of the above, and it's way more fascinating than you might think. This isn't just about avoiding a faceplant on the sidewalk. It's a deep dive into the forces that govern our every step. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The culprit isn't one single thing, but a powerful 1-2 punch of forces. First, there's the impact force. Every single time your foot hits the ground, it's like a tiny earthquake for your shoe. Think about it. An average person takes about 2,000 steps to walk a mile. That's thousands of small, sharp impacts. This impact force causes the knot to deform and loosen just a tiny bit with every step. It's like repeatedly tapping on a tightly screwed lid. Eventually, it's going to loosen up. Your shoelace knot is no different. But that's only half the story. The second part of this dynamic duo is the swinging motion of your leg. As you walk or run, your leg swings back and forth, creating an inertial force on the free ends of your laces. Imagine being on a swing. As you go back and forth, you feel that pull. It's the same principle. This constant whipping motion pulls on the loops and ends of the knot, kind of like a tiny persistent hand trying to undo your work. So you have the stomping force from your foot hitting the ground, which loosens the knot from the inside. And you have the swinging force from your leg movement, which tugs on the laces from the outside. When these two forces combine, they create a catastrophic knot failure. It's a slow, insidious process. Step, loosen, swing, pull, step, loosen. Swing, pull. It happens so gradually you don't even notice it, until one final tug is all it takes for the whole thing to come undone. And suddenly, you're tripping. Believe it or not, brilliant minds have actually studied this. Researchers at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, put this everyday problem under the microscope. They set up slow-motion cameras and used accelerometers tiny, devices that measure motion and vibration to watch. Exactly what happens to a shoelace knot when someone is walking on a treadmill. What they found was pretty amazing. They called it an avalanche-like process. The knot doesn't just pop open. It gradually fails over hundreds or thousands of cycles of stepping and swinging. They saw that the repeated impact of the shoe on the ground caused the knot to stretch and then relax. This constant jiggling slowly loosens the knot's grip. At the same time, the whipping motion of the laces generated a force that was surprisingly strong, sometimes reaching up to 7 times the force of gravity, or 7 gigaseconds. To put that in perspective, astronauts on a rocket launch experience about 3 gigaseconds. So your little lace ends are experiencing some serious forces. This force is what eventually pulls the loosened ends of the lace right through the knot. It's a perfect storm of physics happening right on your feet. Now, you might be thinking, a knot is a knot, right? Well, not exactly. The type of knot you tie makes a huge difference. Most of us learn to tie our shoes using what's called a granny knot. You make one loop, wrap the other lace around it, and pull it through. The problem with the granny knot is that it's inherently unstable. When you pull on the loops of a granny knot, the knot itself tends to twist and deform, making it much easier for those walking forces to shake it loose. The base of the knot orients itself vertically along the shoe, which isn't very secure. There's a much better way, and it's a tiny change to what you already do. It's called the reef knot or the square knot. It starts the same way. You cross the laces and tie that first simple knot. But here's the key difference. When you make your first loop, pay attention to which way you wrap the other lace around it. To make the stronger reef knot, you need to wrap the lace the other way, around the back and through. How can you tell if you've done it right? Look at the finished knot. A reef knot will lie flat and horizontally across the top of your shoe. It looks balanced and neat. A granny knot, on the other hand, will sit askew with the loops pointing up and down. That small difference in how the knot sits makes it much more resistant to the twisting and pulling forces of walking. The reef knot tightens itself under pressure, while the granny knot loosens itself. It's a simple switch that can make your laces stay tied all day long. But wait, there's more. It's not just about the knot. The material of your shoelaces plays a huge role too. Have you ever noticed that those slick, round, waxy laces that come with dress shoes or some sneakers seem to come undone constantly? That's not your imagination. The reason is friction. Or, in this case, a lack of it. Friction is the force that resists motion between surfaces. For shoelaces, you want more friction. Laces that are flat and made from a rougher material like cotton have more surface area and a higher coefficient of friction. They grip onto each other inside the knot much more tightly. Those round, smooth, synthetic laces, often made of nylon or polyester, have very little friction. They're slippery. The knot just can't get a good grip, and the laces slide against each other with every step, accelerating the untying process. So if you're constantly battling your laces, a simple fix might be to swap them out for a pair of flat, textured cotton ones. Let's recap this whole thing. The mystery of the untied shoelace is solved by a combination of factors. First, the impact of your foot hitting the ground loosens the knot. Second, the swinging of your leg pulls on the laces. Third, the type of knot you tie a granny knot versus a reef knot determines how stable it is. And finally, the material of the laces themselves determines how much friction is holding it all together. It's a complex interplay of forces that we disrupt with every step. So now for the grand finale. How do you tie the ultimate, most secure shoelace not known to humanity? Let me introduce you to the Ian knot, also known as the secure shoelace knot. It sounds complicated, but it's actually one of the fastest and most secure ways to tie your shoes once you get the hang of it. It's basically a reef knot, but with an extra wrap. Here's how you do it. Start with your initial knot just like always. Then, make 2 loops, 1 in each hand, like bunny ears. Now, instead of just wrapping one loop around the other, you're going to pass them through each other. Cross the loops and push one through the hole created by the other, while simultaneously pulling the other one through the opposite way. It sounds tricky, but visually, you're basically making 2 loops and swapping their positions as you tighten them. What you end up with is a double slip reef knot. It is incredibly secure because that extra twist adds a ton of friction and makes it much harder for the knot to loosen from vibration. Yet it's still a slip knot, which means a simple pull on the ends will untie it instantly. It's the best of both worlds. Security when you need it, and easy removal when you don't. I highly recommend looking up a video of the Ian knot. Practice it a few times, and it will become second nature. You'll never have to worry about your laces coming undone mid-stride ever again. So there you have it. The science behind one of life's little annoyances is a fascinating journey into physics, engineering, and material science. It is a great reminder that even the most mundane parts of our day are governed by incredible scientific principles. The next time you bend down to tie your shoes, you can feel like a genius, armed with the knowledge of impact forces, inertial loads, and knot theory. You're not just tying a shoe, you're outsmarting physics. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the world of shoelaces. If you enjoyed unraveling this everyday secret with me, imagine what other mysteries we can solve together. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on our next adventure into the science of everyday life. Got any other persistent little problems you want us to investigate? Let me know down in the comments. Until next time, stay curious and stay tied.